session, the topic is Introduction to Digital Image Processing and General Applications. So here in this session, I'll be talking about some briefs about the DIP and its application. Some of you might be aware with the digital image processing, so you might think that this is a very introductory session, but because for this particular FDP, we have to start from the scratch. So I've taken this session a very generic, very basic session. So some of you might not be aware with the DIP, what is the image, how to represent it, though with the basic terms you are already aware. To start with this particular session, what I'm going to talk about over here, I'll be talking about what is image, what is digital image, and what do you understand by digital image processing. Then what kind of environment is for the image processing, a simple model, what are the various steps in digital image processing, types of images, and the general applications. Some specified applications based on the optimization I'll continue in the next session, session 3. So to start with, first you have to understand what is image. See, if you have to define, image is nothing but whatever you are observing, whatever you are drawing, whatever you are just clicking. So it's a representation of something or someone, whatever you would like to pinpoint or you are observing. That is actually the images. Here in this particular slide, you can observe the two images have been taken of a flag. One is the black and white, other is the colored image. So this is actually what you are observing a flower. That is what the image is, right? So when you have to understand the applications and process something, then you must be able to represent it. How to represent it actually? So any image in general or in the basic form, it could be represented in a two-dimensional. Two-dimensional means whenever we are talking about the 2D, the very first thing which come into your mind, that is what? The XY plane. So any image can be defined as a two-dimensional function. So in a two-dimensional, it is a fxy. F is the function and x comma y is the coordinate at that particular point. So it means x and y are the spatial or the plane coordinates, right? And f of xy, that actually defines the value at that particular pair of points. Or you can say the amplitude or the intensity, because when we are talking about the image. So what happened over here, you can observe there are two pictures of a girl. In the first one, x0, y0. In the second one, x1, y1, that have been shown over here. So what happens actually, x0, y0, that is the coordinate, x1, y1 is the coordinate, and f function at that particular coordinate, that will gives you the intensity or the gray level. That is what the value is, right? So here just a very simple example I've mentioned over here. F1, 1, that is equal to 103. 1, 1 is the pixel location, while 103 is the intensity, means the value. So what you can observe over here, you can see in this particular image, in the color image itself, there is a variation of the colors. At some places you can find some light shades, at some places some dark shades. So that is what actually the variations. Even in the case of the black and white images also, you can see, just a minute. Even in the case of the, sorry. Right. So even in the case of that particular image, you can observe there is a variation, and that variation will gives you the intensity or the gray level. Even if you are taking your image, then you can observe in that particular image while you are moving from left to right or you're observing from top to bottom, you can see there is a variation. So that is what the variations of a gray level, or when you are observing that the variations of the intensity in the case of the color images. So this is a simple representation about the image. Now, next term which comes into your mind, what is digital image? So digital image is what? When all these three terms, x, y, and fxy, when all of these values, means the spatial coordinates and the intensity at that particular point, they are finite and having discrete quantities, then we say that the image is a digital image, right? So digital image is what? Digital image consists of some elements, some picture elements, and the very basic, you can define the image in the form of the matrix. So you can just try to correlate in the matrix. There are a number of rows and columns and there are various elements. So in the same manner, image is having what? It is having a collection of some finite number of elements, and each and every element which is used to describe the image, that is very important. That is actually known as a picture element, image element, pels or pixels. So out of these four terms, pixels is the commonly used term, right? So it means pixel is what? That is what related to the each and every coordinate when we are talking about the image. Here you can see a matrix kind of pattern is being plotted on the XY plane. In XY plane means you can see this is a two-dimensional one and certain dots are available. So these dots are what? Dots are nothing but these are the coordinates. First dot will be what? Suppose you are drawing a matrix. So what you are going to write the coordinates x1, y1, x1, y2, x1, y3. So what are these coordinates? These are the locations, and here these are the pixels, and the value at that particular point is the intensity, right? So here you can observe on the XY plane, this particular image has m rows and n columns, and for each and every pixel that is represented by k bits. K may vary from 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So depending upon the number of bits, any pixel can have 2 raised to the power k different values. What do you mean by this? Suppose you are saying that one pixel that is represented by 3 bits, right? 3 bits may be a combination of 001, 011, 101, anything. So if a pixel is represented by 3 bits, then how many possible combinations are there? 2 raised to the power 3, which is coming out as 8. And you must be able to draw it 000 to 111. It means if each and every pixel can have any value among that 2 raised to the power k different values, right? So this is how you can draw a picture. You can define a picture. Similarly here, the picture of this particular girl, here one pixel is being identified, just being highlighted. And the same pixel means here you can see certain value at this particular coordinate. What is the intensity of gray level that is being pointed out? So this is how you can explain, you can define what is digital images actually. So now we know the image, we know the digital image. Now the third and most important term is what is digital image processing? So digital image processing, it is a combination of 3 words, digital, image and processing. So it is actually the processing of an image which is digital in nature by a digital computer. That is actually the image processing, right? So here we are saying image which is digital in nature. Now some of you may be curious, if we are taking the image of a flower, if we are taking the image of a car, that is not the digital in nature. It means first that analog image must be converted into the digital, then only the overall process will take place. So here the conversion from analog to digital, that is actually being done by sampling and quantization. Right? So this is how digital image processing is actually, you can understand what is the motivation behind it. See, nowadays we are talking about image processing, and because it has been found a number of applications in almost all the fields. So what is the motivation behind it? So the motivation is for the digital image processing means where we are processing the digital information, it gives us the improved pictorial information. Pictorial information means whatever we would like to visualize, that must be very clear cut. Whatever we would like to extract it. So image analysis and all that is also very easy. Along with that, the major advantage is the efficient storage and transmission. We are sharing frequently images via WhatsApp, other mediums, right? So because of that, bandwidth requirement, ease of transmission, less information loss, efficient storage, because with the help of the image processing in this particular case, compression is also possible. So that is what the motivation behind the image processing is actually. Now let's discuss about the environment. How it actually, as I've told you, there is a process of conversion of analog image into the digital one. I'm talking to you, you can visualize me, but my image is being available to you clearly. So from my end, it will be like transmitted and you will be able to receive it. So the overall process that involves sampling plus quantization as well. So now in this particular case, this is a very simple image processing environment. You can observe it over here. On the very left hand side, you can observe there is a radiation source, then object, self-luminous objects and transparent objects, right? What happened? Suppose you have to click a picture of a car, right? So what you are going to do, object is the car and you have to take a photograph. So either you'll be taking from your phone or you'll be taking from the camera. If the object that is car, that is clearly visible, you will be able to capture it. But in case of the dark situations, in case of the night, in case of the dark background, you'll not be able to recognize, you'll not be able to capture that particular image, right? So what happened over here? The objects that can be classified into three categories: simple objects, which we can visualize, but for each and every type of object, there is a requirement of the radiation source. Just like if you're observing me, means I'm clearly visible because my surrounding environment, lights, and that is clearly, that is sufficiently available. But if I'm sitting in a night and there is no light, you will not be able to see me. It means there must be a radiation source. Radiation source may be a natural sources, it may be a artificial like lights, lamps, etc. So during the presence of source means when the object is being illuminated, then only that image can be captured. Some of the objects may be self-luminous objects, means they itself will be visible. So they can be captured very easily. Some of them may be transparent, means whatever the radiation source is available, the sources are picking up certain amount of light. Some of the amount of light can be re-radiated, some can be absorbed. So these are the three possible cases of the objects. But the first case, when you are looking at the object, you are able to click its picture. That particular process is being done with the help of the sensor, right? So sensor is available, sensor is able to capture, to convert that particular like image. Overall function is being done. Now, whatever the information, whatever the image is available, that is analog in nature. The simple case, you have clicked a photograph of a car, it is available in the analog form. That is your analog signal. It means now for the processing, you will be able to send that particular picture to your friend, and in that particular processing, that image must be converted first into the digital. And again on the receiver side, that again will be converted into the analog and your friend will be able to receive it. So here the function is the digitizer. Digitizer works and it converts analog signal into the digital one. And then it is available for your computer, for your supercomputer, which can be processed, or from that particular image, you can extract the information or analysis can be done, or the features or some attributes can be extracted. So this is a simple image processing environment. As I've already told you, the motivation behind the DIP. So the reason of popularity of image processing, which is digital in nature, it is very easy to process the image. Even if you have captured the image once, and there is a requirement to do certain small corrections, you can do. You have taken the image, background was not good, you didn't like the background, you can change the background. If there is some deterioration in the picture quality, you can increase the brightness, you can set the contrast. If required, you can reduce the size. So you can understand, once you have taken the picture, small corrections can be done. Storing the digital images into a digital memory, that is also very easy. And these images can be shared very easily without the quality loss. There is no deterioration. Even if there is a small one, that can be up to acceptable level. And it is environmental friendly. So these are the various reasons because of which you can say that there is a huge popularity of digital image processing, and now we are using in almost all the fields. What is a simple image model? We know we are having an image. We are saying that there must be a digitization. But what is this model is actually? See, you must remember that digitization means whatever you are having, the original image that is being represented into its approximated digital form. Digital image is what? That must be a combination of zeros and one. You are aware with the digital, there are two terms, 0 and 1. So digital image, that will be the combination of certain zeros and ones, and that is the approximation of a real scene. You are observing me. My background will be represented by some other things. My overall scenario or the overall, that could be represented by a certain combination of ones and zero, like background is represented by 0 and my presence is represented by 1. So this is nothing but a digitization, means approximation of a real scene. Now, because when we are saying that processing means there is a requirement to process it with the help of the computer, and when we are saying that we have to process the digital image. So digital, whenever we are talking about the image, directly the first thing which will come into your mind, that is what? Some coordinates and the particular value at that particular coordinate, right? If the coordinate is 1,1, that is the location and intensity at that point, right? If you can observe in my case, intensity at this particular point as a nose and the intensity for the background, they may vary and their coordinates may also vary. So any image which may be suitable for computer processing, it must be digitized. Digitization is being done in two ways. One along the spatial coordinates and one along the amplitude. So accordingly, it is known as a image sampling and gray level quantization. You can understand this with the help of this diagram. In the upper one, as I have told you, digitization was the approximation. Here our original image, original scene is available, real scene, that is digitized. Means now it is represented in the form of the pixels and intensity at that point. But when we are saying digitization, here you can observe there is a waveform being shown. On the x-axis, time is being taken. On the y-axis, voltage is being taken. Now here you can observe along the x-axis, various samples have been taken, sample points. This is the image sampling. But along the y-axis, along the voltage level, initially voltage is increasing, then voltage is decreasing. So here if you are doing the sampling along the y-plane, along the voltage, that is the quantization. It means in the case of the image processing, you have to do the sampling along the x-axis, along the y-axis, both means sampling and quantization. So after doing sampling and quantization, this original real scene that will be represented in a digital form. See, when we are saying that representation of a real scene in a digital form, if the image is very large or sometimes the image may be very small, so it also provides you the capability to increase the size of the image or to decrease the size of the image also. What happened over here? That is known as a downsampling or upsampling. Means image can be scaled down or image can be scaled up. If image is being scaled down, it means the size of image is being reduced. Here you can see in the first case, in the first diagram, initially the size of the image is, we are moving from left to right. Size of the image is large, then it is reduced by half, further it could be reduced by half, further it could be reduced by half. So image size could be reduced. This is known as a downsampling, and the sampling rate that is being given by the Nyquist criteria only. Similarly, if you move from right to left, means the right one you can say the smallest image. If you're having an image which is small in size, that size could be increased, right? So here original image is this one, its size could be doubled, then again could be doubled, then again could be doubled. So depending upon the requirement, you can see how much you can play with the image, how much features it is giving you, it is providing you. That is what the beauty of the image processing, right? The second image you can see here, a particular pattern is being shown. This particular pattern is being digitized. Here you can see some of the matrix, coordinates, the pixel values, and gray levels are also varying. At some point you can find out the black. At some points you can find relatively white. So this is what? This is actually when original scene, upon this original scene, sampling and quantization is being performed. So this is analog in nature, and after sampling and quantization, now digital is available, which could be processed. So this is about a very simple model. See, image processing is being like understand up to a level of the computer vision. You are going to attend various sessions on the deep learning and the computer vision in this FDP. So here what you can observe, initially whatever you are having, you are playing with your image. That is the image processing. On that particular image, if you are extracting something, if you are analyzing something, that is the image analysis. And after that, you can move up to computer vision. It means this overall process, this digital image processing, you can understand it from a low level to the high level. It means the continuum of image processing till the computer vision. It could be broken into 3 levels. Now, what are those 3 levels? The 3 levels are low level process, mid level process, and high level process, right? What happened in the case of the low level process? Here you can observe I mentioned input and output both. In the case of low level process, input is image and output is also image. Whatever you have to process it, you are taking an image and at the output you are getting an image. And some of the examples are you have taken the image, there are no more clarity in the picture. So you have applied certain operations, you have done something on the image, and if you are able to get the clear image, means noise removal, image sharpening, you are varying the contrast, you are varying the brightness. That is what the low level process. So low level process means input and output both are image. Mid level process is input is image but output the attributes, right? And the examples of this mid level processes are object recognition, segmentation. If you are observing me, if you have to segment this particular image like you want, there must be some similar objects which could be separated out. So that is what the segmentation. If from this particular image you want to remove P, you just want only the background. That is also a segmentation, right? High level process means inputs are the attributes and outputs the understanding. What do you mean by the attributes and understanding? The attributes of the image are what? Which kind of image? Whether it is a gray image or a colored image. What is the size of the image? Which particular features you would like to highlight over there, right? And from that particular attributes, what the understanding you are developing. See, you can take a very clear-cut example of the autonomous vehicles or the driverless vehicles. There is no driver. The person is not capable to see the surrounding and take the decision. So the thing is, surrounding image that is being captured and being processed, and accordingly the algorithm is being run and next decision which is being taken that could be identified. So scene understanding, you can take up image of the like sky and you can do the analysis. You can understand it. What is the like behavior, location, patterns in the sky when you are observing the sky, of patterns of the stars and all, autonomous navigation. So accordingly, you can see how this DIP flows from low to high, and computer vision is nothing separated out from the DIP. The basic is whatever you are getting, that is to be analyzed and understanding needs to be derived, right? Now, I'll be talking about some of the basic operations in the digital image processing. What are the basic operations? See, when you have to process any image, what is the first and foremost requirement? You need an image. Unless you are not having any image, you are not able to process it. It means capturing the image. You have to process the image of a flower. Then first you have to capture the image. Capturing may be done via camera, via phone or other things, or you can scan any document or something. So the first operation that is very required, that is the acquisition. So acquisition is acquiring something, getting something which is to be processed. Second operation is storage. Storage means once you are clicking the photograph, now you are observing, you are capturing so many photographs, and then out of those many, you can select the best one and that you can save, and the remaining you can discard. So that digital images can be stored very efficiently, very quickly. Storage may be of different types: long-term storage, short-term storage, online storage, storage during processing, right? So these are the various types of memory requirements for the image processing. When you have taken the image, then there is a requirement to process it. Process depending who is communicating. Whether you have taken the image, you have stored in your computer or a supercomputer, and from there processing is being done. There must be certain softwares which are running certain algorithms via which certain tasks is to be performed, right? So processing will be takes place. Communication. In the case of the image processing, you can say there is a like two-way communication. You can send, you can receive. Even during that, when you are storing the information, suppose your file is corrupted and you are opening that particular image, that will give you the indication that this particular file is corrupted. And other supporting peripheral devices can communicate. Display. You have taken an image, you have captured it, and now you are monitoring that is being displayed on your screen, on your monitor, on your phone. So display. So these are the very basic operations which are happening in the case of the digital image processing. Now, the very important step in DIP, which is about the steps in digital image processing. Till now, I have talked about what is image, how to capture it, how to store it, but what are the various steps? So in this particular diagram, you can see these are the various steps which actually being taken for the digital image processing. There is a knowledge base. Knowledge base means it can communicate both way. From here to color image processing, restoration to this means it's a both way. Now, what are the important steps? Image acquisition, enhancement, restoration, color image processing, wavelets, compression, morphological processing, segmentation, representation and description, and object recognition. From some of the terms you are aware, but let me explain you each and every one. What do you mean by this, right? So problem domain is if you are having an image or you are having certain object which is to be processed, means now our problem is you have to capture that object which is not available in a favorable condition. Natural sources are not available, so you have to make the environment friendly, means there must be some artificial sources which will impact, which will radiate that particular object, you will capture it. So these are the various important steps which actually happens in the case of the image processing. So first, understand what is image acquisition. As I've told you, image acquisition is what? Capturing the image, right? You have to click the image of yourself, but how to click it? Either you will use your phone, webcam, or anything, right? So image acquisition is capturing the image of our interest, which is to be processed, and there are various ways. Here you can see the computer, camera, X-ray machines and all, phones. So acquisition is just capturing, right? So this is the first and foremost step, because until unless you are not having any image, you cannot process it. Second is the image enhancement. Here you can see two images. First one is the image which is captured by you, and second is some fine quality of image, right? So enhancement is improving the quality of image, or improving or taking some features which of our interest. You have taken a complete photograph of a person. From that photograph, you just want to highlight the portion of eye. That is what the image enhancement is. But image enhancement, this is subjective in nature. What do you mean by subjective in nature? See, I may like some contrast, like you can say very decent color in the image, and you may like some bright colors. So your choice for the image may be different. My choice for the image may be different when we are observing it. You can say this image is beautiful, but I can say no, there is still some improvement. If I increase brightness, that would be more beautiful. So image enhancement is subjective to nature, and it may vary from person to person, from like application to application. So depending upon the requirement. Next, you can see image restoration. Here you can see two images. First image, you can see some blur image, and second is the quality of image where the clarity is being improved. So restoration is what? When you are picking any image, when you are clicking any image, sometimes what happens, the quality of image is not good. Why? Noise may encounter, some blur image. What do you say sometimes? No, this image is not very clear. This image is blur. Blur is what? This is blur is means noise is being introduced. Their quality is being deteriorated. So image restoration is to improve the quality of our image, but this is objective in nature. Means for which particular model it is to be, for which mathematical model it is to be related, up to which particular level. So here image restoration is model dependent. It is not dependent on your choice, on my choice, right? So enhancement is subjective in nature. Restoration is objective in nature. Next is morphological image processing. So morphological image processing is what? Morphological, it actually offers you some tools for image extraction, image components. See, you can understand a very easily this particular term. You are aware with the morphology, right? Morphology is what? Hiding some information. Sorry. Morphology is what? Hiding some information. You have taken your image and you have hiding the information in the form of the text. Sometimes we used to listen in the news that terrorist or some for unwanted applications or some unwanted communication, the information which was encoded and that was like encrypted, and sometimes that is being hidden in the some other form. So that is the morphology. So it is a tool used to extract the information. Here you can see the image of a person, and we have just extracted the boundaries. So that is the morphological operation. It provides you the tool. Next is the segmentation. Here you can see an image of a cameraman, and in the next image some blocks have been mentioned, some larger block and some smaller block. So segmentation is what? You can segment any image, but there is a criteria for the segmentation, right? Criteria is how to segment it, whether you are segmenting by taking same level or same objects into one class, or you are taking the different. Suppose you are having a group photograph of your class and your colleague. There are 20 persons in that particular photograph, and you wanted to segment it in that particular manner that each and every person is being highlighted into another one. It means there were 20 persons, and now you have divided the given image out of those 20 boxes, right? Suppose you have taken the image of a scenery. In that particular scenery, there are 4 flowers, 2 cars, 3 balls. So now segmentation can be done on the basis of flowers in one category, balls in other category, and cars in the other category, and the remaining one in the other category. That is what the segmentation is. So the criteria for segmentation is on the basis of the similarity principle or on the basis of the discontinuity. Discontinuity means if you are sitting and alone and there is a background. So edges, what the edge is giving you the outer one boundary. So there is a variation with the background. So that particular edge will give the dissimilarity. So this is what the segmentation is actually happening. Next important step, which is about the object recognition. Out of the entire image, if you would like to identify, if you would like to pick any object, that could also be done in the case of the image processing. As I've given you the example of a scenery. Out of that scenery, cars and flowers are not your interest, but your interest is in the ball only. So you are going to recognize, you are going to extract that ball. That is the object recognition. So in the case of the image processing, the analysis, it gives you a huge dimension. Next is the representation and description. You can see in this particular case, representation is being done by taking the boundaries. Representation is being done just by pointing out certain pixels. So depending upon the application, the different type of objects and all can be extracted. So representation, description, this all gives you the attributes which are useful for the image processing. Next is the image compression. Image compression means you can compress the image. Original size you can see 116 KB and the compressed size you can see 12.9 KB. You can see the compression is being done up to 11%. So there are criteria for compression also. Criteria for compression, lossy compression, lossless compression means in some cases we can accept some quality loss, but there will be some applications like military applications where we cannot tolerate even a fraction of the quality loss. So again, depending upon the application, type of compression is being performed, lossless or lossy compression, right? But the meaning of compression is image processing gives you that particular facility also, that particular capability also. See here, in most of the time we are talking about the gray image, but it could be applied for the colored images. Colored images may consist of some primary colors or sometimes the secondary colors. So in the case of the primary, RGB and their combinations, their shades will be available. In the case of the secondary, cyan, magenta colors will be available and their combinations. But the basic concept that remains same. Right? So the color image processing will gives you the facility to play with the colors as well. So these are the steps which are actually being performed in the case of the digital image processing. Now, moving ahead, types of images, which is also very, very important. Till now, we are talking about image. You are having an image, but can you recall or can you understand how many types of possible images are actually? First type of image classification, which is based on the attributes. So image classification can be done in a number of ways. First way of classification is on the basis of the attributes. What do you mean by this attributes? Raster or vector. Raster means the image will consist of the pixels only. That will be the combination of pixels. You can observe various dots in the image. But in the case of the vector, there must be certain geometrics also. Means that will be the combination. There will be certain lines, oval shapes, triangle and all. So vector means collection of certain shapes. Raster means the combination of pixels only. Next type of classification is classification based on color. Based on color means your image may be a binary image. Binary you are aware with 0 and 1 only. Right? So color classification of image based on like color, which is the binary, means either 0, 1, that could be represented means black or white. But in case of gray image, there will be certain shades of gray. See, you can observe in a gray itself, you can find variation of gray shades. Light gray, dark gray, more dark gray means towards black. So in the case of the gray images, there will be certain combinations of the gray colors. So gray color image is actually represented by 8 bits. So you can see in that particular binary, there are two, either 0 or 1, only 1 bit is sufficient to represent. So binary image is also known as a bitone image. But as I've told you, in the case of the gray image, there are 8 bits. So how many gray shades are possible? Can you recall? 8 bits are sufficient to represent any gray level. So the possible gray shades will be what? 2 raised to the power 8. 2 raised to the power 8 is what? 256. So ranges or colors or variations of gray range from 0 to 255. Right? So now you can understand how many gray shades are there. 0 to 255. Light gray, more darker towards black. Then next is the true color. True color is actually the color combinations means image which is having a prime colors. RGB, red, green, blue. That is the true color image. Pseudo color means if artificially you are adding some colors. Like sometimes you have seen the medical images which have been taken. So in that medical images, all the images like remains for the gray shades, but certain portion is being highlighted. Means pseudo color. Artificially color is being added. That is the pseudo color. Next, categorization of images on the basis of the dimension. What do you mean by that? Dimension, 2D or 3D. 2-dimensional images, 3-dimensional images. Simply I have drawn a square or rectangular in my copy. That is a 2-dimensional. But if depth is also being considered, that is the 3-dimension. Right? Next, classification of image, which is the on the basis of nature. This is not natural, on the basis of the nature. So it may be natural images or the synthetic images, right? So natural images means whatever being available. The car is available, flower is available, tree is available. You are taking the image, that is the natural image. Synthetic image, which you are creating with the help of the computers. You have drawn a flower in the paint, that is the synthetic image. So the image which is being created with the help of the computers, that is the synthetic image, and the other one is the natural image. Then data types, let me go to the previous slide. Data types. So the classification of image on the basis of the data types as well. See, binary image is being represented, is being written into the certain forms of combination of zeros and ones. So even in the digital, you have studied that number can maybe a positive or negative. So number, whether it is a positive or negative leftmost bit, if that is 0, the number is positive. If that is 1, then the number is negative. So signed, in unsigned, floating point or logical, these things could also be used for the representation of images. So because you must remember only thing, in the case of the digital image, whatever you have taken, that is being represented into a matrix, into a form of zeros and ones. So that could be represented and any data type would be applied. So this is about the types of images. Let's have a look on certain categories. Here you can see first is the images based on attributes. You can see in the first case dot dot dot. This is the raster image, means the combination of the pixels. In the second case, some lines, some drawings, graphics, that is the vector image. Other is the images based on colors. You can see first is the binary, only black and white you can see. Second is the gray, variations of shades you can observe. Third is the true color image, means RGB. And the fourth is the pseudo images, means where artificially color is being added. Here image of a tree is being taken and all the leaves that have been represented with a red color. So here the color is being introduced. Pseudo color images have a major application in the case of the medical field. Next, I'll be talking about the image storage and file formats. Sir, just wanted to ask one thing. Am I audible now? I hope now there won't be any disturbance. Can you please acknowledge me? Any one of you, can you please tell me, am I audible? Sir, just wanted to ask you. Just a minute. Right. So let's talk about the image storage and file formats. Why there is a requirement of some format? See, you are saving some document in the Word or like in PDF. There is a standard format. In some places, there is a requirement to upload the image in the PNG format only. In some places, you can find that image could be saved into the JPEG format only. What do you mean by that? It means there is a requirement of the compatibility, right? The system must be compatible. Environment must be environment means if one environment is having a different features, the other environment is having a different features, but the image which is being shared from first environment to the another environment, there must not be any error. So that is what the format is required. So what you can say, a file format is a standard way. And it specifies how bits are used to encode the information in the digital storage medium, or any file format that may be free or the propriety of someone. So this is about the file format. Now we are talking about the image, right? So what is image format? So image format, it always tells us how the image is going to be stored. It's not like that the image is being stored randomly or data have been pushed unmanagedly. So image file format is basically which is related to how it is to be stored. And data can be stored in that particular file format, whether we can compress the image, that could be stored, uncompressed image can be stored, raster images can be saved, vectored images can be saved. So that format will gives you the flexibility. And each format of image have different advantages and disadvantages. Right? What is the need of file format? The need of file format, as I've told you, that if you have to share image from your phone to your friends, then what is going to happen? There must be different scenarios, but image must be compatible. So if the format of the image is compatible, then whatever the image you are sharing with your friend, there will not be any disturbance. There may not be any deterioration in the image quality. That is what the requirement of the file format. So any interpretation mistake or any loss of information is being avoided if there is a standard file format. Types of file formats. See, what is the important of the format you are aware with, but how many types of file format? Some of the important file formats I have listed out over here. So image is actually something which you can take for the 2-dimension, for the 3-dimension, for 2-dimension array that will consist of some pixels. It is known as a bitmap. Vector graphics image, which is suitable for the synthetic image and line drawing. So this is about just the file format and some of the very popular formats. GIF, graphical interchange format. What is this? GIF you commonly use for the animation, right? JPEG, Joint Photographic Exports Group, for webs. PNG for again internet web application, portable network graphics. This is also very popular. DICOM. DICOM is what? Digital Imaging and Communication. DICOM is mainly used in the medical forms. There are other applications also, but medical, in the field of medical, DICOM images. What happened? This DICOM images, it has the image as well as the metadata. So image along with metadata. Metadata is what? Suppose some ultrasound or the CT scan of a person is being taken. Report has been printed out. So on that particular image, the required thing will be available, the scanning and all. Along with that, you can see sometimes the patient name, the process or the equipments or something, some text is being written. So that text is the metadata. So DICOM is digital imaging and communication, and it includes both, and it is gaining a majority popularity in the medical field. So these are some of the important file formats. Till now, we have discussed about these things: image, file format, why it is required, why it is popular. Now, if you have to talk about the image processing and related fields, as I've told you that image processing has found its application in almost all the fields. What do you mean by this? Here you can see in this particular diagram, image processing, computer vision, machine vision. Means these are correlated. You can see there is an intersection also. Image with computer, with machine, and all of these three, right? So image processing has an application in optics, in imaging, in signal processing, in controls, in robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, statistics, biological. So image processing has application in almost all the fields, right? For industry automation, what is happening nowadays? There is no means manual operators is being eliminated, being reduced. So automation is being done. A person is sitting, which is sitting in the office, that can observe whole of the assembly, whole of the process is being taken. This is what the image processing is. Blind person can move without any assistance. That is what the image processing is. Robotics is what? The commands is being provided and the information, and accordingly navigation takes place. Even in the case of the air traffic control, for aircraft navigation, for ship navigation, what is being happened? Nobody is like observing continuously. The information about the surrounding will be provided, and accordingly the movement will be decided, and in case of any obstacle, information will be given, and accordingly necessary action will be taken. So you can see image processing is having an application in almost all the fields. In here you can see some of the pictures. As I've told you, the application of image processing in like for autonomous vehicles, for target recognition, traffic monitoring, face recognition, biometric, medical applications. For traffic monitoring is what being done? A person sitting in its like office, that person can monitor the traffic. How it is being done? Just by observing the way, the speed, the crowd, biometrics. Now what is being done? Nobody is going and do the manual signature in their office. Biometrics means once the database is being maintained, now again I am going and I'm marking my daily entry, that is being updated. So that is what the application of image processing. Medical applications, face recognition, iris recognition. So these are all the applications. So what I have told you, the applications for automation means in the case of the automation, document processing, character recognition, logo identification, icon identification. So these are the automation. Now a person is not moving from here to there to carry the files. Once a document is being generated, that is processed accordingly. Industrial automation for assembling, for robotics, for inspection, for even natural gas, oil exploration. You can see the application. In the case of biomedical, ECG, EEG, X-ray and all, mammograms, cancer smears. You can see this is all what you are aware with. This is nothing but the image processing is. Scientific applications for some high energy physics, bubble chambers, if you have to extract something, if you have to analysis, if you have to analyze the tracks, if you have to identify something, that is the application. Remote sensing, you are sitting at a long distance and you want to estimate, you want to extract the attributes of the soil, you want to observe the forestry, you want to contribute something for urban planning, you want to do something for traffic monitoring, for satellite images. So all of this is what? Remote sensing. Criminology. See, once a person is being identified and there is some suspicion. So what is being done? That's fingerprint, face recognition, that could be matched with the database and could be identified if some kind of record is happening or not. Or in the case of the person being found faulty, their whole of the information is being digitized and being saved, so that in future, if required, that could be extracted. This is what they used in criminology. In astronomy and space, to find out how actually the planets are, how the corresponding scenario is, how the environment is, for weather forecasting, for long-term forecasting, for climate change, for detection of satellite, cloud pattern analysis. See, this is what the metrology is. Similarly, in the case of the information technology, image transmission, video tags, video conferencing, in military applications. So this is what a number of applications of the digital image processing you can find. So let me summarize you what I have discussed over here, because as initially I have told you that this is the introductory session. So I have discussed about the image, digital image processing, what could be environment, what are the basic operations, steps of the image processing, how many types of images, how the classification can be done, then general applications of the image processing. Thank you all. Thank you so much for listening so patiently. If you want to ask any question, you can ask me. Thank you from my side.
Any questions?
I'm sorry, I just forgot to mention my mail ID. I'll share my mail ID in the next session. It's sapna.katiyar. Even in future also, if you would like to ask something, if you would like to discuss something, you can write an email to me. So my ID is sapna.katiyar. I'll write in the chat box. So you can mail me also.
Any questions?
I've shared my mail ID also here. I've got one question. I can see it from Divya. What is the difference between the local and global features? See, Divya, the local features are basically So the basic attributes. Basic one, we know that how many pixels, what could be their image type, whether it is a gray image or a color image. That is what the local features. And the global is for the analysis and all, whatever which is being like identified for any kind of application. That is the global one. Description must be there. Extraction must be there. So that is the only difference. Local means me and you can understand, and global means if I mention something, other person also will be able to understand, okay, what the madam has been written, it means that. Rahul has mentioned a question, what is the difference between image segmentation and object recognition? Rahul, segmentation is just the partitioning our image, right? Whatever the images you are having, you are partitioning it. Means overall image is being partitioned. Suppose you have an image and you want to partition it into 4 parts. That is the image segmentation. And object recognition is out of that entire image, if you would like to pick any object, that is the object recognition. So in the case of the segmentation, size remains same, means none of the information is being excluded. But in the case of the object recognition, the object will be picked which is of our interest, any object. Next, one more question, feature extraction. Feature extraction is, you can see me in this particular, and you would like to extract the eye, shape of eye, variation, the pattern. That is what the feature extraction is. Deepa has also mentioned a question, DIP and morphological image processing. Deepa, morphological image processing, it gives us certain tools. Tools for what? Tools for manipulating the things. Means there are various operations, means image can be morphed. And image processing will give us a large umbrella. See, image processing is an umbrella and morphological image processing is one action or one feature of that. Yes, I have already shared the PPT, so that will be shared with you all. Then one more question, which algorithm is best for image enhancement? I'll be discussing about the optimization algorithm in the next session, just after a break of 5 to 7 minutes. There I will discuss in detail what are the possible algorithms which could be applied.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insight on the topic, Introduction to Digital Image Processing and General Application. Dear participants, let us break for a lunch and come back by after 20 minutes for the next section. So kindly join us before 5 minutes in advance.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
தேவையில்லை, அவங்க டைரக்டா ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. மேம் கொஞ்ச நேரம் தண்ணி குடிச்சு ரெஸ்ட் எடுங்க. Hello, Kavita ma'am. Hello, Kavita ma'am.